Hi Trouble. I just wanted to do this video, show you a little bit of what I'm working on for you. This part you're probably going to get much later than the actual dress, just because it's going to take me a very long time to work on, and I will show you why. So if you look here, see if I can flip this around. I don't know if I can. So if you see here, this is a part of your dress, or will be. And this, you can see there's chalk marks on it. That's to sort of give me an idea of where I'm working. And if you look there, there's a tiny, tiny little hook. I don't know if you can see it. It's not really focusing on it real well. But there's a tiny hook. You take it out. And if you look, it's so tiny that my camera doesn't even want to focus on it. Let's see if I can get it to stop doing that. Let me see. There it is. Oh, I had it for a second. Anyway, it's really tiny hook. Trying here any method. You can tell I'm not a YouTuber. Anyway. So this tiny little hook goes onto this fabric, and then if you look under here, there's all these beads, okay? So I'm going to show you. This is the underside of the fabric. What happens is on the top, I have the little hook in a loop, and I push it through the fabric. You can kind of see it. It's right there. You see? It'll focus. There we go. It's right there. So you got this tiny little hook. And then take this little itty bitty thread and I loop it around so that it gets caught in the hook. And I need to turn my needle right. Okay. You can see I'm not very good at it yet. So it takes a little practice. I've never done it with a video on, so it's a little bit awkward. Okay. So it gets caught in a little hook. Once it's in there, I turn the hook around and I pull it up through the fabric so that it goes through the previous loop on the top. And then I turn it again and poke it back through the fabric. And that's one stitch. And then every now and then, after a couple of stitches, turn the hook. Oh, I lost the thread. The hard part, I've got really thin thread for you, so it's extra sparkly, and sometimes it gets caught and I have to work it a little bit because I'm still learning, and that's 2 stitches. And then the special part, and this is going to look really clumsy for a second here, after I get my needle untangled, my hook. See, I looped around the thread too many times. The thread looped around the needle too many times, and now I've got it all tangled up at the top. Okay, there we go. I got it loose. So, then, if I want to put on a bead, first I gotta punch it through, like that. And then I take one tiny little bead. You'll see how the little guy is? And then I have to hold that up against the fabric and not lose it. Sometimes I have to use my second hand, which I'm not supposed to do. But, okay, so get a tiny little needle, tiny little bead up by the tiny little needle, and then when you loop the fabric around this time and it gets caught in the hook, it's going to trap that little bead in there. So, loop it around, pull it up through, ta-da, you've got a bead. Now, let me show you from the top, if you can see it. Let me see here. I'm going to set this up so you can see it. Maybe if I do this, okay. So, just to give you an idea, here, I'll unhook it. So I take the little hook, here, here. Okay, do this on a different part of the fabric that I'm not going to use. So here, okay, let me see where my hand is here. I punch through, you see this little knob? That holds the needle in place, and it also tells me where the front of the hook is. So I punch it through, then I loop the thread around, and then I turn it so I don't catch the thread from the previous one. And then I lift it up with the new loop of thread. I have to push back just a little bit so it doesn't catch on the fabric, because if I don't push back, then it's going to catch on the fabric in front of it because it's a hook. So push back a little bit, stretch the fabric out, pull the hook out, and then I turn it around again so that I can start my next stitch. And that's what I do every stitch by hand, very slowly. So there's a special part of your dress that's going to be on the front that I'm going to try to make so that it's replaceable with the fancy one once it gets done. Hopefully it won't take me too long. Love you, Trouble, and I will see you soon, and I look forward to making your dress, Rosie.